Across the United States, Americans are preparing to adjust their clocks as the end of daylight saving time approaches once again. It is a moment that arrives every November, often met with equal parts relief, frustration, and confusion. For some, the ritual of gaining an extra hour in the fall is welcomed. For others, it is an outdated disruption to sleep, schedules, and daily rhythm. And this year, the conversation around daylight saving time carries even more weight, especially in places like Texas, where fall has felt more like summer, and where calls for permanent time change are growing louder. In cities such as Austin, the disconnect between the calendar and the climate has been striking. With an average temperature of more than 80 degrees, Austin is on pace for its warmest October in recorded history. For residents hoping for crisp mornings, cooler evenings, and a true seasonal shift, those expectations continue to meet disappointment. The state remains locked in a warm, dry pattern heading into winter, leaving many Texans searching for any sign of the changing season. For some, the end of daylight saving time and the act of turning clocks back becomes one of the few remaining symbols that fall has finally arrived. This year, the time change takes place on Sunday, November 2nd. At 2 a.m., clocks will shift back 1 hour, marking the official return to standard time. It is a tradition that has shaped American life for more than a century, and yet the debate surrounding its future has never been louder. Why do we change the clocks? Why does it still exist? And will the United States ever choose one time system and stick with it? To understand the present, it helps to understand the past. Daylight saving time was first adopted in the United States in 1918 during World War I. The goal was simple: preserve fuel and resources by maximizing daylight hours. If more activity could take place while the sun was still up, the nation would use less electricity. In theory, it made sense, and many Americans believed that shifting daylight later into the evening could boost productivity and reduce energy use. Over time, daylight saving time evolved, expanded, shrank, and shifted through multiple laws. In its current form, the United States springs forward on the second Sunday in March and falls back on the first Sunday in November. That schedule has been in place since 2007. And while many Americans remember the practice by the simple rhyme, "spring forward, fall back," the simplicity of the phrase does not reflect the complexity of the controversy behind it. Today, millions question whether daylight saving time still serves its original purpose. Opponents argue that the concept is outdated, pointing out that modern energy consumption is no longer tied primarily to household lighting. Others highlight health concerns, noting that time changes disrupt sleep patterns, increase stress, and even correlate with higher accident rates in the days immediately after the shift. Parents point out that darker mornings can mean children waiting for school buses before sunrise. Doctors and sleep experts overwhelmingly favor a stable, unchanging clock. But on the other side, supporters of daylight saving time argue that longer daylight in the evening encourages outdoor activity, boosts consumer spending, and reduces nighttime accidents. They claim that permanent daylight saving time would benefit modern lifestyles, allowing families to enjoy more sunlight after work and school. This national disagreement has put Texas at the center of a growing political battle. Like most states, Texas currently observes daylight saving time. However, state leaders have repeatedly debated ending the biannual clock change. A bill known as Texas Time was approved by lawmakers, aiming to keep the state on daylight saving time year-round, eliminating the need to fall back or spring forward ever again. Supporters of the bill say that stability is better for business, safer for roads, and healthier for families. But there is a catch. Even though Texas passed the legislation, it cannot take effect unless Congress changes federal law, and Texas is far from alone. Across the country, nearly 20 states have passed measures expressing the desire to remain on daylight saving time permanently. But their hands are tied. The federal government allows states to remain on standard time year-round if they choose, but it does not currently allow states to stay on daylight saving time permanently without congressional approval. Hawaii and most of Arizona are the only two states that simply do not change their clocks at all. remaining on Standard Time throughout the year. The push for change has reached Washington, D.C. multiple times. In 2022, the Senate unanimously approved a bill known as the Sunshine Protection Act, which would have made daylight saving time permanent nationwide. The effort stalled in the House and never became law, but the vote signaled something important. The political appetite for ending the time change ritual is real and bipartisan. Even former President Donald Trump publicly stated that he wants to eliminate daylight saving time and keep a consistent schedule year-round, calling the current system inconvenient and outdated. Yet, despite public support and political agreement on the problem, lawmakers cannot agree on the solution. Should America stay in Standard Time all year, or daylight saving time all year? Meanwhile, everyday Americans are caught in the middle, losing sleep in March, gaining an hour in November, and navigating the same ritual that has been debated for generations. As the next time change approaches, families will once again adjust microwaves, dashboards, wristwatches, and alarms. Phones and computers will reset automatically. Pets will ignore the entire process and wake their owners on their old schedule. And the national conversation will continue. As we look ahead, one thing is clear: this debate is not going away. The more states that pass legislation, the more pressure lands on Congress to make a final decision. Should the nation move permanently to Standard Time? Should it remain in daylight saving time year-round? Or should we simply continue changing the clocks twice every year, as we have for more than a century? For now, the ritual continues. On the first Sunday in November, darkness will arrive earlier across America. Evenings will feel shorter, mornings slightly brighter, and the nation will settle into its winter rhythm, just as it always has. And in places like Austin, where warm nights have overstayed their welcome, some residents may finally feel a small symbolic hint of seasonal change, even if the temperatures don't cooperate. Before we close, we want to hear from you. Should the United States end the clock change? Should America stay on Standard Time or Daylight Saving Time permanently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every comment, and your voice matters in this national discussion. And if you appreciate clear, direct reporting on real issues that affect everyday life, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We cover major weather events, national policy debates, and developing stories across the country. And your subscription ensures you never miss an update. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay connected. As the time change approaches, remember, it may be a small shift on the clock, but it represents a much larger conversation about health, lifestyle, and the future of America's daily rhythm. Whether the nation eventually ends this tradition or continues it for another century, the debate over daylight saving time reveals one universal truth: time affects all of us, and that makes this conversation one worth having.